A few months ago, I made a video ranking every single Premier League home kit, but a lot of the kits in that video were quite disappointing. I wondered if I could do better. So I got started on FIFA Kit Creator making 20 new Premier League kits, one for each club, and in this video I'm going to show them all to you guys. But first, I'd just like to recommend that you subscribe to the channel because it's completely free and you can always unsubscribe later. But with that being said, let's get started with the first kit. I'm going through this alphabetically, so let's start with Arsenal. Just like the real one, I've decided to use the Gunners logo rather than the actual Arsenal badge because I think that looks a lot better. I've also gone for a nice zigzag design within the red because this sort of thing has been used on Arsenal away kits in the past, just not on home ones. I've also got thin blue lines on the edge of the red and the rest of the shirt is white. It is quite difficult to compete with Adidas on this one because some of their recent Arsenal kits have been great, but I think I've done a good job here. Next up, Aston Villa. Now for this shirt, I used a similar layout to the Arsenal kit. Obviously, I've used claret and blue, those are Aston Villa's colours, but those are the only two colours that I've used. And I think this helps the shirt to look clean and a lot nicer. Another feature I've included is this graphic of the lion in the Aston Villa badge. I think that looks quite nice within the claret. And then there's the badge, which I've changed to just be blue and claret like the rest of the shirt. I think I have used a slightly darker shade of claret than normal Aston Villa kits, but I think it looks nice. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now next up is Bournemouth, and I have gone for a more simple design here. With black and red stripes, the black one is slightly thicker just because I thought that looked a bit better, and there's this arrow design pointing upwards, which is sort of like Bournemouth have been these last few years. Going from the Championship to almost the top 10 last season, they are on an upward trajectory. The only thing really letting this down is the sponsor, but I still think it works as a traditional Bournemouth kit. Next up is Brentford. I've obviously gone for red and white stripes, but there's also black in the logos, collar and cuffs. I think this works really well for a Brentford shirt. It's definitely different to what we'd normally see, and I've also mixed up the stripes to make them a little bit fuzzy, and that's because Brentford are the bees. There's a bee in their badge. I think it makes the Brentford kit more interesting. But that's nothing compared to what I've done with this Brighton shirt. All the stuff that's going on in those blue and white stripes is ridiculous. Obviously, this is not like any Brighton kit we've seen before. There's just so much going on here, and I basically just carried on adding a load of crazy stuff into the blue design until I thought it looked good. And I think this does look good. Now, next up is Chelsea, and I've gone for a much more traditional design. It's a blue kit which uses gold logos as well as some white and black on the collar and cuffs. I really liked Chelsea kits in the past that used gold, and for my kit, I've chosen this yellowy gold colour which I think works really well. The real life Chelsea kits recently have been ridiculous, and honestly, I think something like this would work way better. The cuffs here are actually very similar to the ones from last season's home kit, but that one had some weird logos, and that's why I prefer my version. Now for Crystal Palace, I've also taken inspiration from a real kit, and that's the one from this season. It's a very popular design, but I'm not a big fan. I think there's too much going on, but I do like the way they've used the eagle from the Crystal Palace badge. So I've decided to use that in the background on a blue base, with two red stripes down the middle, and fully white logos with a blue and red border. I really like what I've done with the logos here, and I've simplified this season's Palace kit to make it easier on the eye. I think a lot of people will prefer the original, but let me know what you think of mine in the comments. Next up, Everton. I've taken inspiration from an old retro kit with this white section at the top outlined in red. The rest of the kit is obviously just blue. I've also included an interesting design that links to St Rupert's Tower, which features in the Everton badge. And speaking of the Everton badge, I've also changed that to make it an older one to fit with the retro theme. And if it wasn't for that steak sponsor, I think this would be an excellent retro shirt. Obviously, most Everton shirts are just blue nowadays, but I think the white at the top looks really good. Now for Fulham. The main bit in the middle is white, but it's also got a red outline which then turned into black on the sides and sleeves. I'd say the most interesting part of this shirt is the Fulham badge featuring in lots of little checkers. It's a detail that probably wouldn't be seen from far away, but it makes the kit feel even more like a Fulham one. Now next up is newly promoted Ipswich. I've gone for a blue base with white as the secondary colour. It features on the sleeves, collar and logos. There's also this interesting design within the blue. It doesn't really have a meaning, I just thought it looks really nice. And overall, this is a simple Ipswich shirt, but I think it looks a lot better than the other one they have this season. Next up is Leicester, and I've based this off of a very old retro kit. It uses a really old Fox's badge. It's also got red and white touches around the place, and features a blue base with stripes in a different shade of blue. I know a lot of Leicester fans will want to see a kit more similar to what they're used to seeing nowadays, but this links back to Leicester's kit history, and I think it looks really nice as well. Next up, Liverpool. I've obviously gone for a red kit with white and this pale yellow colour also featuring. I think the colours work really well here, but the main feature is the design that references the You'll Never Walk Alone song. Liverpool fans sing this at Anfield before every home game, and I think the current Liverpool kit tried to reference this as well, but I think mine is more recognisable and fits better with the kit. This is actually one of my favourite ones I've designed so far. Now the next team is Man United. I've put all the logos in the middle here to make room for these big long black shapes outlined in white. I think this makes the kit look a bit retro, and although it's not actually based on anything in particular, I think United fans will appreciate this. It's definitely more interesting than the kit they've got this season, and I've always thought that black works really well with United's red. There definitely will be people who don't like this as much, because it is very different to what you'd normally see on a Man United kit, but I think this looks nice. And for their rivals Manchester City, I think I've designed something even better. You see, Manchester City are very proud of their city's naval history. You can tell that from the boat on the Man City badge. So I decided to reference the water upon which Manchester made its name. I've got some wavy designs in different shades of light blue, and I think the colours work really well for this one. Outside of the Manchester City badge, this shirt is also just light blue and white, and I think both the colour and the design make this kit a really good one. But obviously I designed it, so of course I'm going to say that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Now for Newcastle, I've obviously gone for a black and white striped kit, but my one, just like some of my previous ones, has only got 2 colours, which again makes it look really clean and stops it having these random colours that don't appear anywhere else on the kit. The Newcastle badge has normally got a bit of blue, a bit of red, and I think the kit looks a lot better when it's only black and white. I worked hard on trying to make those black and white stripes the right size, and I think they work really well like this. The final detail I added was a little pattern going up from the bottom, and that's supposed to reference Tyne Bridge, which is a very famous bridge located at Newcastle, and I think this design fits in really well. Next up is Nottingham Forest. Obviously there is a lot going on here, and maybe I got a bit carried away while designing this, but I want to see more bonkers designs in the Premier League. I keep seeing Forest kits that are just really boring, so I decided to just go mental and design something like this. I know some Forest fans will prefer kits that are just mainly red without all this crazy white stuff going on, but I wanted to do a bit of an experiment here, and I'm interested to see how many people prefer bonkers designs to the traditional kits. But now it's time to move on to Southampton. Now, a long time ago, I made a video where I designed new Saints home kits. And for this Saints kit, I just picked the best one from that and remastered it. It's obviously got red and white stripes with black as a separator. The Southampton badge is in a crest, which protects it from that red stripe. The manufacturer and sponsors logos are in white with a black outline. There's also other touches of black around the place. Overall, I think this is a really good traditional Southampton kit. And that's what it was intended to be. Now, next up is Spurs. It's very difficult to do something interesting with a white and navy blue shirt. I didn't want to make it look too bonkers, but I also didn't want to make it too boring because so many Spurs shirts in the past have just been white with some blue touches. So I decided to go back and look at some previous Spurs shirts, and a few of them have used this yellow colour, which I think works perfectly. I've decided to combine this yellow with a blue and an even darker blue that looks like it's almost black. I've also put the Spurs logo in a badge because I think that looks a bit better, and overall, while there isn't too much going on, I definitely prefer my Spurs kit to some of the ones we've seen recently. Let me know in the comments if you agree. And now for the penultimate kit, West Ham United. I've obviously had to go for a claret base with blue sleeves. There's some white on the collar as well. I've decided to put the logos in gold because I think gold and claret, the combination isn't really seen that often and it works well. It's also the colour used for the West Ham hammers. I've changed the badge a bit as well. I removed the blue because it was a different shade of blue to what they normally use on the sleeves, and that looks a bit weird to me. I think my one looks better. And there's some hammers in the background on the claret, which I think just looks nice. This is another one where there isn't too much going on, but I think it works well. A few small changes help to make this one look like a really good West Ham kit. And last but not least, we've got my Wolves kit. It's obviously that ambery orange Wolves colour, but it's also got this image of a wolf on it. I'm not sure whether Wolves fans will like this or not, but I haven't really seen this kind of thing very often on a football shirt. From far away, I'm assuming it would just look like a normal Wolves kit, but from closer in, you will be able to see the ambery orange face of a wolf. I've kept the logos down the middle just like on the real Wolves kit, although the real one does have Sudo to the left, which just looks a bit weird, so I've put that back in the middle. There's some black and white on the collar and cuffs, and also a patch of lighter orange on the sleeve, which is not supposed to be there. I should have gotten rid of that, but oh well. Yeah, overall, this Wolves kit is an experiment, but hopefully you guys like it. And that's all the kits. Now, before we end this video, I have an announcement to make. It is the exact same announcement that I made in a previous video, but that one didn't get many views, so I'm going to make it here too. A few months ago, I hosted a football kit design competition, and I've decided I'm going to do another one. It'll be done on my community post tab, and all you have to do to enter is design a football shirt for a team that's not in one of the big 5 leagues. Basically, I want to see kits from teams that we don't normally see. Now, there are many ways that you can design football kits, and the main one is using FIFA Kit Creator. All you need to do is make an account, and there are many tools there that you can use for free to make yourself a good looking design. Or you could just describe a kit in the comments and then I'll make it for you. If you want to send me a link to your kit, then you can message me on FIFA Kit Creator. My account is in the description. I also put some helpful videos in there on how to design football kits, so make sure you click those if you're interested in entering. The deadline to enter is 2 weeks from now, so you've got plenty of time to make yourself a good kit. And with that announcement out of the way, thanks again for watching, and I will see you later. Also, make sure to subscribe because it's completely free, and the worst case scenario is that you just unsubscribe later. Anyway, the video's about to end now, so bye.